Hey guys, Delt here. It's time to test our Bard-Barian. The biggest thing that I was looking for when pulling from perks was robust, so that we could be a tanky bard, and it took us 7 pulls before we got it. After that, I just did 1 pull into ranger to look for multi-shot, crossbow mastery, ranged mastery, or anything else that sounded good. And that's when we pulled True Shot for the drum video from yesterday. Along the way, pulling from Barbarian, we were able to get some fun things too. Achilles Strike, Savage Roar, Blood Exchange, and Rage were the 4 that I was really focusing on and excited about. From those, I rolled out using Rage because I didn't want to lose 25% PDR, and Achilles Strike because we already have a ranged option with our survival bow or our crossbow, and I didn't think having a gap closer would be the absolute most useful thing. So I decided to try out Blood Exchange first. Gaining 10% health per swing seemed like it was going to be better because it would also work against magic users like wizards, clerics, warlocks, anyone who picked up any other magic damage. My other thought was that it's balanced around slow swinging weapons, and the rapier with Aria of Alacrity swings really fast. We can actually get 8 swings in, which would total up to 80% health if we hit all of them, and that's what made my decision to test that first. All these games are norms. I have a kit all ready to go for High Roller, but I wanted to see between Blood Exchange and Savage Roar what I liked better first. For perks, I'm going to be running for mana to keep our buffs up longer, Rapier Mastery for more damage, Robust so it could be a healthy, tanky boy, and Berserker because it's the only other perk that I got to increase damage. If you don't know what that is, every time I lose 10% of my health, I gain 3 physical power. It's basically just a last stand burst of damage. Then for my songs, I brought all 5 self buffs: Rousing Rhythms, Beats of Alacrity, Aria of Alacrity, Ballad of Courage, and Harmonic Shield. Part of the reason I did this was so I could drop my flute and have less to worry about. The other reason is because without taking charismatic performance, it's harder to use songs like Lament of Languor, Allegro, and Shriek of Weakness in the middle of a fight. Anyway, let's get into the games and the testing, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So once again, these first few games are just going to be testing Blood Exchange. If you watch my health bar here, every time that I hit him, I'm gaining 10% of my health. The problem that I ran into most of the time was that either people would kite away, or they would die, or I would die before I got the most out of the buff that I could. Against this cleric, I actually had a few survivable shots, not thinking he would be low because he had plate armor on. And then when I took my first stab after using the ability, he was just dead. I used it against another fairly tanky cleric here, and it did heal me, but I don't think that it was really worth the amount of healing. I think that I got 3 swings of healing in here, and Savage Roar probably would have mitigated just as much damage. Remember when I said people just kite away as soon as you scream? This warlock did just that. Yes, it would happen with Savage Roar too, but I wouldn't have to sit down at a campfire afterwards if it didn't work out, since it's just a cooldown based ability and not something that needs to be recharged. And the Goblin Shaman actually kind of screwed me here, and I knew that I was going to be low, and I was hoping that he would be too, so I just pushed in to try to finish the fight after this wore off, and it didn't really work out. I should have tried to reset if I could. And this fight isn't really showing off Blood Exchange. I actually just wanted to show off a little tactic. You can pretend to run away, and as soon as you get out of line of sight of someone, just run back in. A lot of the times it'll work if they're trying to shoot you with a bow. So we're just going to get out of line of sight and then go back in, and he's jumping to try to land a shot, and I literally just walk up and start smacking him with my rapier. This bard build was pretty cool too. He had ice armor and smite. I don't know what else he had. Alright, after a few other games, I decided that Blood Exchange wasn't necessarily my favorite thing, and I moved on to Savage Roar. I kept everything else the same though, and I'm just going to play through one full game because I only played one game with it. I was contemplating Achilles here too, just because it sounded like fun, but I think Savage Roar is just going to be overall better. All right, so we spawned here, and honestly, I didn't have any big brain ideas for pathing. I'm just clearing around the map and running around and trying to see if I hear anyone near some of the spawns, and then just running around looking for players. It's literally all I'm doing. I do constantly check Cave Troll Room because that's one area that a lot of people tend to go to. And yeah. I figured I might as well try to get some gear along the way as well, just so I have slightly better odds when it comes to fights, but I don't care too much about that. And here I'm deciding to run back north of the spawn where I started because sometimes people will come from that side. I know I do a lot personally because I know that the Goblin Tunnels is a spawn and I'm trying to look for fights. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I'm bad, so I'm just gonna use the health shrine. And it didn't seem like anybody was here, so I'm just going to run back over to Cave Troll Room now. I'm sorry that the beginning of this game is boring. I promise that it does get better. And right here, I heard a bola swinger attacking someone, and I didn't know exactly where that was, so I'm actually going to check the room to the south of me and see if they're there. Well, I don't think that it was this bola swinger, but I do see some dead mobs across the room, so I'm just gonna push over that way and see if I can find the person who did that. All right, and we found a ranger here. This is where rage would probably be better, but at the same time, if I can close the distance where if I'm in gear, I should be able to regardless. If not, I can just use my survival bow, and that's what I do here. And he shuts the door. I hear him prep multi-shot, so I back up immediately so he wastes it, and then I run back in. Another thing Savager is good for, it forces people to kite away from you. He knows he can't fight me, so he's just going to keep running, which opens up a window for me to start hitting him. Sadly, the base survival bow is pretty awful. He ends up getting out here. I go to open the door to unleash the goblin on him and try to start pushing, but the goblin moves away, so I think it's going to hit me, so I back up. It's actually just moving around for some reason, though. And I found the ranger on the other side of the door there, but he just got hit by the goblin, and I already hit him a decent amount. He kind of just died to the poison, so that's sad. And here I was thinking about using a campfire, then I realized 2 bandages would have just healed me, and I'd rather save the campfire for when I took more damage, so I stopped. At this point, I'm deciding to run into the 4 elevator room. It's just 1 room north and 1 room to the left, so it's pretty easy to get to, and you can typically find a decent amount of players there. But I mess up and get hit by a goblin, so I decide to sit down and heal up the full when I hear somebody else coming. It's a barbarian that wants to be friendly, so I make sure that I shake my head no at him to make it a fair fight, and then I start shooting. I'm not full health, but Savage Roar is off cooldown, so I just run in, proc that, and start swinging, and hope it works out. And we were able to take down a blow of Corruption Barbarian because we had Savage Roar. Savage Roar OP. But now we have to heal, so I'm going to put down a campfire and heal with that as much as I can, and then finish up healing with pots and bandages and double check him to make sure that there wasn't anything else that I wanted. And now we're following through with our other plan to check the 4 elevator room. And I don't see anybody, but this guy was the last one to be killed, so I just check around a little bit first and then head back to Cave Troll because these 2 rooms are hot spots, so I'm just going to go back and forth between the 2 at this point. All right, now that I've wandered around a little bit and haven't seen or heard anyone, I'm gonna go back to Cave Troll and check to make sure no one's there. And we found ourselves a rogue. I'm wanting to make sure that I prop pot just in case he has a hand crossbow. But as I do that, he ran away. And since he's a rogue, I don't necessarily know where he went. He could have been stealthed behind any corner. So I just kind of run back and forth for a little bit. Right here, I heard some footsteps, and so I decided to go down and check out. And I actually see his little shimmer because he's moving around. So I just proc Savage Roar and all in him, and he barely does any damage to me. And while I'm doing this, I hear another door in the direction of the elevator room. So as soon as I'm done looting, I'm just going to run over there. And we found a fighter across the room. My entire idea is just to hit him a couple times with the survival bow and then all in him. He throws an explosive bottle, which actually makes this a little bit annoying because I don't want to stand in it and I can't use my 4th rapier swing or I'll hit the wall. But we were able to take out a PDR fighter with Savage Roar with only losing about half health, which feels really great as a bard. Without that, I would be kiting with my survival bow for a whole lot longer. So at this point, I'm pretty decided that I really like Savage Roar and I don't need to test it anymore, and I'm probably the last person in the game anyway. So I'm just going to open up this portal, heal up, see if there's any other like sellables that I can grab, and then we're gonna get on out of here. So this is gonna be the end of the video. If you enjoyed the content, please just give me a comment, like, or subscribe to the channel. Anything and everything helps, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who do it. Also, if you're wanting to join a community of people who like Dark and Darker and other video games like it, I'm gonna have my Discord linked in the description below. Feel free to click that, come by, introduce yourself, say hey, whatever. And as always, I hope that each and every one of you have a very great day. And I hope to see y'all next time. Peace.